Hey y'all. So it's that time of year again when the weather is starting to get a little bit cooler, the leaves are changing, and that only means one thing. Pumpkin. That's right. Everything pumpkin. So of course I'm going to do my part, and today I'm going to make pumpkin bread, actually chocolate chip pumpkin bread. And this is a really easy recipe. It's delicious. I know there's a million of them out there, so it never hurts to try one more. You never know, this one might be your favorite. So let me show you everything we need to make it, and we will get started. My name's Mari. All right, let's do a quick rundown of everything you're gonna need for the pumpkin bread. We're gonna start with your 9x5 loaf pan. You need a nonstick cooking spray. I'm using the avocado oil spray. Then over here I have a cup and 3/4 of all-purpose flour, teaspoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon of salt, teaspoon and a half of ground cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of cloves, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/4 teaspoon of ginger. You're gonna need half a cup of oil. I'm gonna use this avocado oil. You can do whatever oil you want or have. You can do vegetable oil, canola oil. I don't know about olive oil, but I know you can do coconut oil if you want. Then I have 3/4 of a cup of white sugar and half a cup of packed brown sugar, 2 large eggs, which I'm gonna crack and whisk them before I put them in the mixture. You need 1.5 cups of pumpkin. You wanna make sure that you get 100% pure pumpkin, not the pumpkin pie filling. And then 1/2 cup of chocolate chips. And I'm also gonna use a little bit of chocolate chips for the top of the bread. So it'll probably end up being just a little bit more than 1/2 cup of chocolate chips. First things first, preheat your oven to 350 degrees. All right, now let's spray your loaf pan with nonstick spray. Make sure you get the sides too. Spray it well. Okay, to this bowl, I'm gonna add the flour, the salt and baking soda, and all of the spices, which they smell amazing, by the way. Okay, we're gonna give these a really good whisk. You can sift them if you want, but I'm just gonna give them a really good mix. With a whisk, you can do it with a fork, just whatever you need to do to get them really well combined. Okay, and in this bowl, I'm gonna do the 2 eggs, which I've already lightly whisked. Okay, and then I'm gonna add the white sugar and the packed brown sugar. Gonna mix this with just a rubber spatula. Get these well combined. You don't want to overmix this bread. So really you should be able to do all of this by hand instead of having to use a mixer. Okay, so these are almost good and combined. Okay, now I'm gonna add the pumpkin. And again, you want pumpkin, pure pumpkin, not the pumpkin pie filling. Okay, just give it a good little mix here. Then I'm gonna add my oil. Okay. And 1/4 cup of orange juice. Give this a mix, stir, whatever you want to call it. Just get it all nice and combined. And then what we're going to do is in the bigger bowl, I'm going to add these wet ingredients to the dry ingredients. All right, so now I'm ready to combine the two. These are my dry ingredients. I'm just gonna add the wet to it, making sure I get everything out of the bowl. Just give it a good scrape down with your rubber spatula. One more go around. Okay, I think that's got it. Now, just gonna mix all of this just until combined. Again, you don't want to overmix. This is why you really don't need a hand mixer or a stand mixer for this. You can easily do this by hand. Just want to get it combined. Almost done. And then kind of get down in the bottom of the bowl because some of the dry kind of gets down in there. So you just want to make sure you're getting all that. You just don't see any white lumps in here. It can be lumpy, the batter, but you just don't want to see, like, see there's still a little bit of these little white globs. And then when you pull it back here, you see just a little bit of the white powder. You don't want any of that. Just want to make sure it's all fully incorporated. And once I'm done with that, I'm just going to add these chocolate chips. Then we're going to be ready to pour it into the loaf pan. I think we are good. Now, got the half a cup of chocolate chips. Give it one more gentle stir to get everything combined. Okay, let me grab the loaf pan. Whoop, a little bit of flour I still see. Want to make sure I get all that. Okay, let me get the loaf pan. All right, this is the greased loaf pan. I'm just going to pour this in. These bowls are so heavy. And then I'm going to get a little bit more chocolate chips to put on the top, so that when it bakes, when it comes out of the oven, it'll have some really pretty chocolate chunks that you can see on top. All right, so I got just a little bit more chocolate chips, and I'm just going to kind of sprinkle them on top, just so that it's nice and pretty when the loaf of pumpkin bread comes out of the oven. All right, so this is now ready for the oven. I'm going to put it in on the middle rack. It probably needs to bake about an hour, but I'm going to check it about halfway through to make sure that the top of it isn't getting too brown. Because if that happens, then I want to cover it with some foil and let it continue to bake for the rest of the time without burning the top, okay? The bread has been in the oven for about 55 minutes. Now I'm going to just kind of test it with this little toothpick kind of thing I have. So you can see there's still a lot. It's still kind of really moist in the middle. So I'm going to put it back in for probably another maybe 10 minutes. At this point, I want to do it in 10-minute increments because I don't want it to burn. I have not needed to cover it with any foil because, as you can see, it has not gotten too dark. So let me put it back in for another 10 minutes and then I'll check it. The other thing to remember is that it will continue to cook for a little bit even after it's out of the oven. All right, the pumpkin bread is done. And it ended up taking about an hour and 10 minutes to be fully cooked. You have to take into consideration the way your oven works. Some people's ovens cook really, really hot, while others not so much. So for the last 10 minutes or so, I ended up putting a piece of foil over the top just because I didn't want it to burn while I was just waiting for the middle to, catch up to the rest of it. So I'm gonna cut a slice, give it a taste, let you know what I think. All right, gonna go in with the pumpkin bread. Oh, this is good. This is really good. It's really moist. Oh, it's delicious. This would be really good with some nuts too, I think. I didn't put them in here because not everybody likes nuts and some people have nut allergies, but you could. I would put maybe some walnuts or pecans, and this would be good without chocolate chips too. So if you wanted to leave the chocolate chips out, you could certainly do that. Yeah. It tastes like fall. It's wonderful. You guys have to make this. I'm gonna put the recipe in the description box below. If you have any questions about it, leave me a comment. If you like it, leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching my video. I really do appreciate your time. And I would love to have you subscribe to my channel. So until next time, make some pumpkin bread.